Hey everyone, and welcome back to Remember This Tech. Today's episode we're going to be doing a quick PC build for a flip that I'm going to be doing, and it's behind me right here. Just going to be slopping together a i7 flip in this micro ATX case, slopping it in, doing some commentary, and we're going to do a couple of burn-in tests. And that's the entirety of this video. So if you're into this type of thing, it might be for you. Give it a watch, thumbs up, and subscribe if you like that kind of content. So I'll also put some of the parts and pieces that I used in the description section below in case you want to check those out, because it helps me out. So without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? Come on, let's go! Core of this build is going to be an i7 6700 CPU with 4 cores, 8 threads. It's a little long in the tooth, but it's still applicable, still okay for everyday tasks and light gaming. We got a 256 gig Intel NVMe here, and we're going to throw in 16 gig of DDR4 and a nice LED Cooler Master Hyper 212 cooler. This motherboard here is a Gigabyte GA-B250M DS3H motherboard. It's got 6 SATA ports here, and then it's got USB 3.0. So I mean, it's not too horrible, right? ATX power supply connector and an 8-pin CPU power here. On the I/O panel, we've got a number of USB 3.0. We've got HDMI out and VGA and DVI. And then you got a PS2 port, which is always cool. It's a multi-port. Then we got one PCI Express 3.0 port and 2 1X slots. We're going to be throwing it in this Zalman Micro ATX QX case, QXG I think. And it's really small. People don't like huge cases sometimes, and I use at least for my builds most of the time, at least for the lower end, mid-range. Has USB-C ports on the front, which is pretty cool. USB-C, which for a budget case, I mean, are you going to find that normally? Not too much. Front glass here, which I haven't done the peel. Oh, I messed the peel up. Oh no. It's not going to peel right because of the attachment screws. But what's cool about this literally is it has 3 fans, 2 up top here and 1 up here for exhaust, and they're LED. And there's not a lot of room for cable management, but I'll make it work. I've done a couple builds with this and it does okay. But sometimes you have to replace the fans or whatever. But anyways, and then we're just gonna be using a 650 watt Segotep gold power supply, and I usually use the ASRock, but I had this on hand and we're gonna be using it. And then we're going to go old school here with this Zotac GTX 1060 card. It's a 6 gig GPU, and of course this is a budget intro level, maybe 1080p gamer build, and that's what it's going to be. So keep the price low, and let's get to building. I already put the CPU in. NVMe is in. I've got to get the screw to secure it. We get some RAM in here, put the cooler on, slop it in the motherboard, and good to go. As you all know, NVMe prices, memory prices, even GPU prices are going through the roof right now. So it's even harder to find a good new PC or finding parts to build used PCs or new PCs. So it's a struggle. This right here is the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Halo Black cooler. Fits on a variety of different motherboards, and you know what? it can cool a huge range of CPUs. And I use it for these builds because it's not too bad for price, and well, it's got LED and it's going to match with the case perfectly, and I'll show you once it's built that it does look pretty nice. So one thing here, I do like it. It's got little pads here for the feet, so it's anti-rattle, and it's all black. But when you mount this cooler, make sure you do this. Now, it may trip you up, but you've got your accessories bag here. There's no standoffs like ID cooling, but you got to put your back plate on, and it'll tell you, and you just adjust these feet and put the back plate behind your motherboard. Yes, it's a plastic back plate. It still works okay. You know, you're going budget build and you gotta cut a few corners, and then these are the ones you use here for mounting the cooler, and this right here, and I'll show you what I'm getting at in a second. Comes with 2 screws in here. These screws are for mounting these guys to the cooler, but you also have these for your fan, and it comes with enough thermal paste to get the job done, and that's what we're using, and that's why I like it. So what I'm getting at is this: don't lose these 2 screws no matter what you do. Oh, I just dropped it on the damn floor. Go to tell somebody to do something and then you drop it. That's Murphy's Law. Okay, so if you got your cooler right, you think, oh, put it here. You're like, well, why can't I do this? There's little rails. It's kind of intuitive. It's upside down. And you have to put the rails here and then screw it in from the bottom with those 2 screws. And that's how I attach the brackets for this. I might have shown it in another video, but this is how you do it. And this is how this cooler works. But it does have 4 heat pipe design, copper, and it does pretty darn good. Sometimes you can get these for under 20 bucks. And when you do, you should buy a couple. The link will be in the description below in case you want to check them out, along with a few different things like what I'm using in this build, the case, everything else. Just make sure these are tight so that you get good contact. And then we're going to mount this on here and put the fan on. As always, I always use the correct amount of thermal paste on my CPUs. Always. Don't you know that? Everybody's gonna say that, you know, this or that. And also, these guys right here, they adjust for your socket platform. Just line them up in the screw holes and adjust them, and screw in your CPU cooler, you know. Got 16 gig of a dual channel DDR4, and kind of mounting this first so there's room for the cooler, but there should be plenty. This board doesn't support 3200 megahertz RAM, but it does have you know, I think it's 2666 or 2400, so you can run a little bit slower, or you could try to overclock it. Well, your mileage may vary. If you ever had a, you know, want to figure out which direction your fans blow, well, I read somewhere once, faces like this, faces suck, so that means it's blowing this way, and this usually is the mounting frame if there's not a clear face. So this is the exhaust, goes this way. So we're gonna go like this and exhaust it out. And anyway, so Mount this on here so we'll get a good exhaust out. And it does have the LED. You can hook that up as well, but plug it into your CPU fan here so I never get it in there. Now it's about time we put this into the machine, into the case, right? So this case here has 4 thumb screws that hold the front on, and just a simple glass plate with another protective film. And again, it's a simple micro ATX case. We've got a bag of stuff here, bag of screws, which they make you take the back off to get to. Then, so you can see, this is tied on here. You get a spare plate and your mounting screws, USB 3.0, audio, and I don't know if I showed you this before, but look, this bargain case gives you a front I/O header cable that's all in one. That is pretty cool. Yeah. So let's flip this around. We can route those after we get this board in. And all the fans are daisy chained, so you can just use one motherboard header port for your fan if you don't have enough. So don't forget to put your I/O shield in if you have one first. Otherwise, you get to take the board back out. Sometimes you have these cheap cases and they're flimsy. Sometimes you could cut yourself. This one's not too bad, knock on wood. And then your graphics card, you're gonna need to pop out these, 1 or 2. And what is it? You probably can't see on camera, but these things, PCI Express. Because if you try to do it and wiggle them and break them out while your card is in there, your board is in there, it could scratch the contacts on the board. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move a screw or 2 for the mounting plate. Give me light. Give me light. Yep, this one on the left is not correct. Needs to go up 1. But everything else is pretty good. Yep, I gotta move the bottom one only. Not too bad. Alright, let's do that. I have to shift the mounting screw up. I always forget. This has a side screw for putting in the graphics cards. I don't really like it, but it is what it is. And it kind of helps hold it down, but like I said, I don't really like it. I don't like it because you gotta remove it to get it in, your card in there. I hate it. Hate it. Some people love it. I hate it. I always run these first, because if you're gonna go up through here like this, then you're going to need to do that before you put the power supply in there, because it is tight in there and you don't want to, I don't know, have to route it or take the power supply back out. But these are flat ribbon cables, so you can get them flat and the power supply will fit fine under there. USB 3.0. Anyways, I'm gonna have to redo some of this, because once you get this in here, power supply, sometimes it moves things, as it always does. And for a, I don't know, for a cheaper flip build, for an entry-level PC, you're not going to go and splurge usually on a fully modular power supply, and this is not, so you have extra cables to hide. But that's fine, because this is decent gold power supply. So I'll put this model and the ASRock down below, because they're both good. So you can go about doing this any way you want. I'm going to reroute the cables back through and tidy them up, but for right now, just get everything connected. And you're gonna do 6-pin power, motherboard header cables probably should have been done first. because of the tight confines here, but I did not do that. Now we're going to cinch up some of these excess cables and tidy up a bit. That power supply, the 8-pin right there, that was a pain in the ass to get in, I'll tell you that. And when I'm talking about cleaning up and cinching up stuff, well, this is the mess that I'm talking about. I still have to get this in to power the fans, but anyways, what I'm talking about is there's excess cable here. We can kind of pull it through. I'm gonna have to tie it down and zip tie it and tuck it under here. And there is some space up front. On the bottom, there's no fans there. You can tighten these down. You just have to be able to put the case back on, and it's got to be flat so it doesn't bend or anything. And then we've got all this excess cabling, which is going to be a fun time. Cable management is not my best talent. That's what you get when you buy a non-modular power supply and a micro ATX case, right? You get what you get. But I think it's fine. I'm gonna route these around here. At least you've got those cables, right? At least you've got the length. Half the time you don't. Alright, the big pain in the ass is getting this on the top of the motherboard, where I barely was able to get that power supply 8-pin CPU connector. There's only one spot here left and I cannot see it, but I have to do it. So there we go. Got everything hooked up. Some cable management going on. There are like little zip tie areas here. Can kind of tie here. Just need a little bit shorter zip tie. Kind of want to get it, flat. So overall, all those cables kind of fit under there, which is pretty impressive for this small case. And I gotta tie this here, get some cable management, and then just about done. This doesn't need to be in here, and then we can do some tests. I'll show you what I do for testing for the system, which is pretty basic, but I do a couple FPS tests and kind of like a burn-in test. Check for graphic anomalies. Let's get this rolling, get an OS on there, and start testing. There it is, a little compact mini entry-level gaming PC. Not too bad if you ask me.